Hey, Kevin Coy here, and just giving you a progress update on the building project. And right now what we're going to do is, this is the front door to the house, the framing for it, and we're going to go ahead and cut this scrap sheeting out of here, out of the middle of the door hole. It's framed up for a 3-foot wide front door, an exterior door, and we're going to take this bottom plate out. And then we're going to temporarily cover back up, because we're going to leave the plate out and the door out until we get done doing our finishing of this concrete. We're going to stain this concrete, and one of the things that has to be done is we have to scrub it, and which we need water, and then we got to be able to squeegee the water out of the building. So we're going to leave this out. Since there's a lip here, we're going to cut that off, and we can push it out onto the ground. And then as we go through the process of the staining, it takes a couple of different application processes, and then we have to neutralize, which takes water again. So we've got a way to squeegee the water out of the building. If we put the door in, then the threshold's going to be in our way, and that's going to cause us trouble. And so it's just going to be easier to leave it out for right now. But we're going to go ahead and cover it up with a sheet of plywood or OSB to keep the weather out in between, and then we'll unscrew it when we need to use the opening. So basically the easiest way to do this is just to take a Sawzall and cut the rough opening out. This is over framed a little bit so that the door can be put in and leveled and shimmed and set in the way you want it to, so that your door swings properly. And so a little bit wider, a little bit taller than the actual door itself. And this bottom plate that runs through the whole wall here has to be cut out, so we're down onto the flat surface, which is the stem wall. It's at the same height as the slab inside. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just start cutting this out. And this makes quick work of it, a reciprocating saw with a wood blade. And what I can do is start where these two seams are right here, work my way up, and then I can basically rest the front edge of the plate here, the shoe of the saw, on that, so that I can stay nice and level with my framing as I go around, and make pretty quick work out of it. So here we go. Okay, so I popped that loose, and what I'm going to do is, because I don't want to accidentally gouge my concrete or scrape it up with this saw, I'm going to take a hand saw and actually cut through this plate to get it out of the way, because I've got a lot more control over that. It's going to keep me from scratching up the floor, because that's our finished floor, so I don't want to do that. Okay, so we've got our front door opening cut out right now. We took the plate out, and we've got our window removed so that we can go ahead and paper everything in, and we're going to permanently install the window at this point. We got our electrical outlet boxes put in. This is a outlet down here. There's going to be a counter right here, because this is our kitchen window that we serve through onto the patio. We got an outlet going to go in up here, because we're going to hang some lights and plug them in. And then we've got a light for the door, and this light lights the entire patio perimeter up and out into the yard, so it gives us plenty of light in here. And then with the additional overhead lights, we'll have more than enough light to do what we want to do out here after dark. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put in our roofing felt, or in this case wall felt, tar paper. And we're cutting it in between the two doors right now. We went ahead and papered in around that door because we installed it earlier. And we're going to wrap the paper around inside the frame of the door here and across and then into the sill for the window opening. And then we'll reinstall our window and put our window tape around that and level it all up and get it ready for our final siding that we're going to be putting on later. So we're going to have to cut around our openings for our outlets and our electrical, and then be ready to cover everything back up. So we've already measured here, and we're going to go ahead and get started stapling these rolls of paper on. Okay, so we papered in this section here. We got the door opening, the window opening over to the next door all papered in, and we've cut out our paper around our outlets and light fixture openings. And so what we're going to do now is reinstall the window. We stuck the window in originally to dry fit and make sure it fit in the opening properly. We actually changed windows, if you remember earlier in the project, from a 3 to a 4 foot, so we had to reframe the opening because we wanted a bigger window here. And so we put it in for that to test it, make sure everything fit right, plus we wanted light and ventilation in here while we were working without weather. And so now we're going to go ahead and reinstall it on a permanent basis, and we're going to do once we stick it in there and we get it all level and square and we're happy with it in the opening, we'll screw the tabs on. Once we got the window in and we're happy with it, we're going to go ahead and put this rubberized membrane that's sticky on one side around the fins and the window to further weatherproof and adhere it out here. It sticks out about 5-6 inches across all the way around, and then we'll trim over that and bring our siding up to our trim, and everything will be nice and weather tight, and we won't have to worry about rain or wind or anything getting in around that window. So that's our next step. Okay, so I'm just applying the two side pieces first, and I measured and pre-cut these So I'd have a little bit of an overlap, and then the top piece goes over, bottom piece goes over on the bottom. And I'm just peeling the paper off the back of it as I come down and working the material on here. And it's covering up the plastic fin around the edge of the window here. I'm just kind of rubbing against it so it sticks good. A little bit at a time here as I work my way down. Okay, just kind of rub that on there real good, get a good seal. And then we'll start the other one. If you played with sticker books as a kid, you're going to be happy you learned that. Just a little bit up past the window here. And just work it down as I go. Keep it right up tight against that window frame. There we go. Let's rub it good here to get a good stick. And then I just need to cut the two pieces on the top and the bottom. Okay, we got the top and bottom pieces here. If I can get the paper off of the corner here. Come on. There we go. It's very sticky. So same drill. We're going to come all the way out to the edge of the other piece. And then we just want to keep this nice and level on top of the frame here again as we pull the plastic or the paper off the back of it. Just kind of working that down. So we got this overlapping that on both sides. And it's very rubbery and thick and sticky on one side, so it's got a nice seal to it, and that's a good weather-tight seal. Not so important underneath the patio here for sure, but on an outside wall where you're out there in the weather, you definitely, this is a great product. And you know, you're still going to caulk your trim when you put it up. If you're, I mean, you can run your siding right up to this if that's how you want to do that, or you can, if you're going to put trim around it, then I would still caulk out around the trim just to keep weather from getting in behind your wood trim. But this will keep it from getting in between the window and into the framing. It's the same kind of a product they use on roofing. They have something called ice and water shield, which is a similar product, and they'll often, you know, in a snowy area especially, but rainy areas work too. They put this on the first 3 feet at the bottom edge of your roof so that you don't have ice damming and water working its way back up underneath the shingles. And then in valleys, you know, on a roof line where there's a valley, they'll lay these into the roof before they shingle it. So there you go, that window's ready for trim, and this wall's ready for siding. And we'll finish that last little bit over there on the other side of the door. But we're in really good weathered in right now, so We got some rain coming the next few days before we can get some shingles going, so we're in good shape. We've been putting some GFCI protected outlets out here because we're outside. We want to have shockproof outlets, and then we'll have a nice outlet protector over the top of these to keep the weather out, keep the moisture out. And we're going to temporarily wire in again our little patio light here, so we've got some good security lighting out here while we're still working on the house. And there you go. Papered in and the windows set. We're going to put a piece of OSB over that door opening for right now because we want to keep that available to us while we're working. And there you have it.